If you're aching to play a fully next-gen first-person shooter that leverages the strengths of Unreal Engine 5.1, then buckle up and sit back and enjoy the colorful display of proper violence in this video as we dive into the new Magic shooter from Ascendant Studios, published by EA and launching July 20th on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Thank you EA for sponsoring this video, and this is Immortals of Aveum. I was very fortunate last week. EA was kind enough to fly me out to San Francisco and allow me to visit their campus there to get a hands-on look at Immortals of Aveum. I got to sit down and play for several hours, as well as hear presentations from the devs themselves as they unpacked what Immortals is all about, what they sought out to achieve, and what we should expect from the game. In this video, I'll unpack what I learned and focus on showing you exactly what Immortals has to offer. In another video before the game launches, I'll then do an opinion piece and let you know what I thought about it. But this video here is designed to equip you with knowledge about Immortals, show you actual gameplay of mine, and allow you to make your own informed conclusions about the game. Let's start with the basic info, like who you're playing as, what the conflict is, and what world you'll be fighting in and why. In Immortals, you play as Jack, a young man whose magic abilities awakened later in life, which is uncommon and happens only under extreme duress. When his latent magic emerged, he was revealed to be a Triarch, a mage or Magnus, who can control all three types of magic in this world: blue, red, and green. Jack's mentor, the general of the nation's armies and creator and curator of the Immortals team, played by Destiny's own Gina Torres, explains that most mages can only wield one type of magic, but that makes them excellent masters of that type, while Triarchs have access to all three as a resourceful jack of all trades. No pun intended there.
This was all a sanctuary settlement of refugees fleeing the front lines, before it became just another battlefield. It's as good a place as any to continue your training.
Jack ultimately joins the fight in the Ever War against Rasharn and their leader Sandrak, and he sets out with one goal in mind: to prove himself as an elite mage soldier and then be conscripted into the Immortals program. The Immortals are a sort of Navy SEALs team, you know, the best of the best, and Lucium's greatest weapon against enemy threats. Jack wants to see Sandrak fall before he can gain ultimate control over all the magic in Avium. And in my play session, I was able to play alongside another Immortal NPC, a master of red magic and a genuine powerhouse. But I'm anxious to meet the other Immortals and see what they can do too.
Something funny?
You walk towards your doom.
Doom and I are old friends.
Now, Immortals sets itself apart in the shooter genre by being something new, a first-person magic shooter. So in this game, you'll be replacing your firearms with a brace on your arm that channels your magic into powerful projectiles. There are three types of magic, each with their own flavor. Blue magic is precision-based spells like a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle. They do big precision damage and excel at range. Red magic is all about close quarters combat and is more like a shotgun. It does big damage up close, but it's inaccurate at longer ranges. Then you have green magic, which is more like assault rifles and submachine guns and LMGs. These spells tend to be fully automatic and track their targets relentlessly. So a big part of the combat in Immortals is about knowing what type of magic is needed in any given moment. You may have a crawly monster jump at you, so you blast it with red magic, but then you see an archer on a hill and swap to blue magic to pick him off before he can land a shot. And the gameplay loop is really all about reading the battlefield and constantly switching between different types of magic depending on what you need in that moment. But the magic goes deeper than just projectiles. There are also different artifacts you can unlock which give your magic new ways to express itself. There's the Lash attack, for example, which reaches out and grabs enemies and pulls them in. This works great in conjunction with red magic attacks. But you also have these lipids, a green bottle that allows you to toss out green globs of goo that slow enemies down when attached to them. and this is really handy against berserkers and charging enemies. But I also unlocked a red talisman of sorts that shot a charged up beam of energy that staggers and stuns enemies, holding them in place briefly. It was especially helpful when I wanted to cast a more powerful spell or a super ability and I didn't want to miss it. Speaking of which, you'll have a super ability as well that you can use more sparingly. The one that I used was a focused hyper powerful beam of energy that immolates targets. You'll also have spells called Furies that serve different purposes. They consume a considerable amount of magic to cast, but replenishing crystals can be found on any battlefield to keep your magic reserves topped off. One Fury launches straight out in front of you and shatters enemy shields, while another Red Fury ability is an AoE attack that spreads out in a radius around Jack for big damage if he's getting surrounded. On top of all of those offensive spells, you'll also have a shield, or rather a ward, that you'll pull up in your offhand to block incoming damage when you can't get out of the way in time. And you'll have a short-range teleport called Blink to also help you get out of sticky situations or attacks that you see coming. But what about customization and build crafting, you might ask? Well, Immortals has numerous ways for you to differentiate yourself from other players and custom tune Jack's magic to your liking. First, there are 3 talent trees, one for each type of magic. These help refine Jack's combat style by enhancing existing spells and abilities, creating new ways to apply debuffs to targets, increasing Jack's health or provide new ways of generating energy, or even unlocking new abilities altogether. I enjoyed speccing into the red magic tree and unlocking the ability to cause corrosive damage over time with every melee attack I land, but the player next to me at the event unlocked a blue magic spear that she could throw at enemies from a distance, which also looked pretty freaking cool. You'll also be finding and purchasing artifacts and armor pieces that will enhance your spells in various ways, allowing you to tailor Jack's accessories to your liking. You've got sigils, totems, and rings to provide buffs or complete spell reworks, and each of these pieces of gear can be upgraded with currency to amplify their potency. Now, the last thing I want to cover is more about the basic genre of the game. Most of you will want to know what to expect, if this is an open world game with an exploration element, or if you'll be traveling to big regions where multiple quests can be interacted with, etc. Immortals of Aveum is a linear story shooter. From what I experienced, you'll be starting each mission from a designated new space and then progressing through that space for the duration of the mission until its completion. Then you'll move on to the next mission and the new space that it provides. There are a couple of hubs that serve as like a home base where you have vendors and things like that as well. But there are also portals and areas that you cannot access in these missions, which leads me to assume that you'll be able to retroactively travel back to previous mission destinations to search for more relics and spells and gear. But otherwise, the game seems to be linear on a predetermined path. For many of you, that will be a good thing. You want to focus on making a killer build and experiencing the story. For those explorers out there, the game has some to offer in that regard, but this is not an open world RPG with lots of side quests out there waiting to be found.
Sir, it's the hand.
You're sure?
Okay then. Definitely sure. This just got very important, sir.
Agreed. You're clear for recon only. Follow, but do not engage. Find out what the hand is looking for.
Kirkin. Maybe engage a little.
And there you have it. That is the gist of Immortals of Aveum. If this game looks dynamic and exciting to you, hey, you can pre-order it using the link in the description of this video for PC or current gen consoles. And again, while this video was designed to inform you about the game, what to expect, what the gameplay looks like, in my next video, we'll unpack my personal feelings about the game and more along those lines. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment in the comment section below and tell me which magic type looks the most appealing to you based on the gameplay. Will you be leaning into the brawler red magic or the sharp shooting blue magic, or are you going to go in guns blazing with a fully automatic green magic? Let me know below. Thanks again, EA, for sponsoring this video, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next one. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and goodbye.